everyone, welcome back. As of now, we have created one list reporting app and we have enabled the user interaction features using the annotations. So, this is the app, whatever we have created. We have arranged these fields in the order whatever we want using the annotations, and we have made this list report header available, and we have created one facet, and in this facet we have arranged the fields according to the subgroup. Under general we have mentioned some fields, and the departure fields are created under the departure subgroup, and destination related fields are created under the destination subgroup. These we have achieved using the field group and the parent facet. So as of now, this is the functionality we have implemented. Now we wanted to make one more facet available. For suppose if we have any flight details available for this connection, those details should come over here, and we would be able to see the data for a particular connection. That way we want to achieve it. So for that we have to create one more facet. So this is the first facet whatever we have created, and this facet is, this is the one. So we have to create the other facet. So for that we will be creating the facet here. Now I will copy the things here whatever we have, and I will modify. So ID we need, since we are going with the different facets. So this ID, this is related to flight details. So I'm making it as flight, and purpose it is standard, or else you can omit this purpose in most of the cases unless you are using the header one. And label also I will give it as flight. Now type, it should not be the collection, since it is for every connection. For a connection there can be one or number of flights, so it has to display in the form of table. So it will be line item reference. This is the one. And position, this is the 20, because we have already created one facet here in this view, and this is the second facet we are going to create, so it will be the second one. So I'm giving the number as 20, which means after this facet it should display, and we will be activating this one. We have just created the facet, but we have not included any fields. So let us check how it is displaying. So this is the facet, other facet whatever we have created, and this it is displaying all the fields whatever we are getting here. All the 20 entries it is displaying here, and this carrier ID, connection, departure, all these things these are displaying here. But it should not be the case. This should display the data whatever it is related to this connection. But here we are getting all the entries because we have not defined what are the fields or what are the entries it should display over here. If you observe here, this facet, first one we have created, and this facet is this one. And here we have mentioned what fields has to come over here using the field group, and we have done the things. Field group reference we have done, but the line item related ones, that means the flight related data, we don't have available in our connection table. We are doing the association, so we have to give like what is the data which has to come for this particular facet, because we have already given for these fields, but these fields we have already created the facet and they are already available. But for this particular fields we have not given which fields has to come and what is the source of data we have not given. So that's why it is getting all the data. So how you have to give means, you have some other field which is target element. So here you have to give your target element, that means from your association you will be getting the flight details. So these two things are interlinked. So according to your connection you will be getting the flight details, so target element you will be your flight. And now I will activate the code. Let us preview the application once more. Now you are not getting any data because you have just created the facet and you have not mentioned what are the fields that should come under your facet. These fields we have determined for the above facet, but for the below facet we have not mentioned any fields. These fields we will be getting from this GI flight details list. So here we have to mention what are the fields which has to be there under this flight facet. So I will just copy the code from here. This is the annotation, and label you have to change. Now let us make the positions 30, 40 and 50, 60 and 70. And we have to give the label also here. And this is the seats max plain type id. You can give the different label also, that is your wish. And here I will give it as price, and that is flight date, and this is the connection id. You can give it as connection number also. And for this particular facet also you may create a field group, and you can make the fields grouped, like you can create the subgroups like all the you can create one field group which is general, and for the seats you can create one field group which is seats, and for the plane related things you can create one more field group. That way also you can do. Just you have to create one more field group, one more parent, one more collection facet, and you will be creating the field groups, and your parent will be, and you will be giving your parent. That way you can do that also. So here you will be giving the flight, which is the collection facet, and you will be giving the general and seats related things and price related things. Two or three field group you can create, and you can make use of that annotation ui dot field group, and all the fields will be subgroup based on the field group you have given. We have already seen that how to create, so I'm not going to create that much here. I just wanted to use this simple way ui line item. But if you want to try out, you can try out, because we have already created in this one, in this GI connection detail list using the field group. The same way you can do here. It will be flight, and all these things you can just follow the same, and you can give the field group as it is. Now we have activated our CDS. Now let us see, we have given the fields also, if it is appearing or not. Still we are not getting anything. Okay, still we are not getting, because we have not exposed this CDS view in our service definition. Whenever you are creating one more CDS view and you want the details to be available, you have to expose that CDS view also. Now I will expose this CDS view. Activate. Now if you observe your service binding, it should have this ZI flight details also. Okay, let us refresh this application and see whether we are getting the data or not here. Now we are getting the data. So for this particular airline ID, which is the carrier ID, these two are the flights. So the airline ID is AA, and you have the data related to this particular connection. These are the flights. If you just click on, you don't have anything, because you have not created any facet. If you create one more facet, these details, it will be displayed in a detailed way, like whatever we have done for this one. So for that you have to create one more facet in your flight interface view. So how you have to give this ui header info. This is the flight related one, flight, and the plural will be flights. And you have to create your facet, ui facet. I'm just copy pasting the things, because we already know how to do and what is the meaning of all these things. So just to utilize the time, I'm copy pasting the things. Here ID will be flight, and purpose standard, and label I will be giving it as flight. And type, I don't want to create any collection facet. I will give it as identification reference, because I just wanted to give the data in the array form here. We have given the identification reference, so you have to make this annotation at the rate of ui identification, then only your fields will be visible. Identification, Shift enter. I don't want all these things. Position I want and label I want. Okay, I think I have missed this label. Let me give it here. Label, I will be giving it as same carrier ID, and position I want this to be available at the first position. Now I will be copying this one, and I want this connection ID to be available, and flight date also I want, and price, and I don't want the currency code. I want this plain type ID and seats, maximum seats, and how many seats are occupied. Just make the positions correct. Okay, that's fine. If you miss some number, it won't be any mistake because you can use lot of numbers here. Label, I wanted to give the same label whatever we are using before. Maybe here I will make it as, instead of seats max, I will make it as maximum seats. And it is plain type ID, and here it is the price, and it is flight date here, and this is the connection ID. And here instead of connection ID I will give it as connection number, and activate this one. So here we have created one more facet, and in that facet we have maintained these fields. For every line item you will be having these fields whatever we have mentioned using this annotation uy dot identification. Now let us preview the application. Okay, first facet we have already there present, and one thing is like we were talking about this navigation facet. This is the navigation facet. If you just click on this one you will be getting to this facet. If you click on this one, this is the one. So this is the navigation facet. You don't need to do anything for that. We have not done anything extra for this. We have just created the facet, and this navigation facets will be available automatically. And now if I click on one line item, it is displaying the fields whatever we have mentioned using the UI identification annotation. And the one thing is here, this is the price field, and we have not mentioned our currency field in the detail list, which is the identification list. But since we have used the annotation, it is displaying the currency also automatically. So we have created one list report app where you have the connection details, and if you click on this connection details you will be having one object page which will display the object page in a detailed way, and we have subgrouped these particular fields based on the category, and based on the connection you have the flight details available. And if you want the detail view of your flight details, you can just click on that one. It will display the flight flight details in a detailed manner. So this is the functionality whatever we have achieved so far. And all these ones we have not written lot of code, or we have not written a single line of code. All these functionality we have achieved just by writing a single annotations. So by using the annotations we have achieved all these things. Now here this carrier id, it is coming it as EAE, but I want the description for this carrier ID instead of this ID. So for that, there is one table which is slash dmo slash carrier, which will have the name of your carrier ID. I will just preview it. So you have the name for your carrier ID. If it is a American Airlines, Air Canada, and all these things we have, and this name, it is available only in English language. We don't have multiple languages available for this particular carrier ID in this table. So we want to get the carrier ID name for a particular carrier using this table. So how you can do that means, on top of this one, I will create one more interface view. Maybe you can ask why you are creating one more interface view. You can just do the association for that table, but it is not recommended to do like that. If you are using anything, create a one interface view on top of your table and get the fields whatever you need only. Although if you need all the fields, just create the interface view and use that interface view instead of using it directly. So for that we have to create the interface view. We know how to create the interface view. Carrier name, interface view for getting carrier name, and here you have to give your reference object which is your table name. Next, define view entity. Yes, now I don't want all these fields. I will just remove these things. I want only these fields available for my new interface view. I will just remove these ones and activate the view. I will do the association for this view in our main connection view. So I will do one more association here. Association, it will be one to one association, because for every id there will be definitely one name, and there will be only one name because we have that name only in one language. If you have that name in different languages, obviously you will be having a number of possibilities. Since we have only one type of language, there will be certainly one, and maximum also will be one. To this carrier interface view as carrier on dollar projection dot, this is the field carrier id. We have to give carrier dot carrier ID. And obviously you have to expose that association underscore carrier. Now the warning is removed and activate the view. You, if you don't know the concept of associations and exposing the associations, please do watch the series of ABAP and HANA playlist. Then only you will be able to understand these concepts. If you don't know and if you are coming to learn RAP, then it will be difficult for you to understand RAP. So I will suggest you please do watch that playlist or please learn that. Then only come and learn RAP. Now we have established the relationship for our carrier name to our connection view. Now we have to get the name of your carrier carrier ID. So that name will be available in your association. So using the association, you want to get the carrier name, or you can just give it get that name here also, dot carrier ID. So that means using the association you will be getting the carrier ID name. Okay, carrier ID is not unique as car. Okay, carrier ID is not the one I want. Name I want actually. Carrier ID we already have, we don't want that. We want the name for that particular ID. So I got the name here, but I want to get that name available for our carrier ID. So how to do that means we have to use one annotation at the rate of object model dot text association. Shift enter. So here you will be having something called as association, or you will be having something called as element also. If you give the element, you have to give this one, or else I will give the alias name for this one, carrier name. I'm giving the name here and save this one, activate. So from your carrier interface view you are getting the carrier name, and you are attaching to your carrier id using the association, which is object model text element. You have got the name here, so you are giving that field over here. But in your interface view also you have to tell, like, this is the field which is giving the text for your carrier id. So how you have to do means you have to give one annotation, semantics dot text true. So that means whenever you are giving this annotation object model text dot element, it will try to get that field. This is the field whatever we are giving. So this field we are getting from your underscore carrier. So it is redirected to your interface view, and it will try to fetch the name from your interface view. So we have to give from which field we are getting that name. So for that purpose we have given, this is the field wherever we are trying to fetch the text for our carrier id. So whatever the first, if you have multiple things over here, like you have established the relationship, like you want to get the text for some other fields also. First, wherever you have mentioned this annotation as to first place, it will take that and it will get the description for that one. Since you have mentioned this annotation, that means if you are mentioning this annotation at the second place, even though if you are mentioning at the second place, it won't consider, it will take the first place only. That means this is the text you are getting, that way it will work. So we have established the relationship here, and let us try to refresh the application. Now if you observe, we are getting the text along with the IDs. So using that object model text one, you will be able to get the description here. But in your flight view, flight object base, you are not getting that because we have only established the relationship in our connection view. If you want that to be present, the same way you have to add here, you have to establish the relation to your interface view with your flight one, and here you have to use the annotation, which is object model dot text element. And anyway we have added this semantics dot text to true, so we don't need to do that again since we have already done. But one more thing is, here you are accessing this name. Without accessing this also, you can make the text available by using the association. How you can do that means, at the rate of object model dot association, this one. Sorry, not this one, text should be there. Text dot association, yes, this one. So here you have to give the association name. Here we have exposed the association, and we are getting the field also from the association. Instead of getting the field name, you can just give the association name only. Here I am exposing it, and here what I will do means, I will give just the association name instead of giving the field name. Okay, since it is already exposed, we don't need to do anything. Okay, it is unknown. Okay, it is not found because we have exposed this one. So instead of that, you can just give it like that without getting the field name. I will just comment this one and activate this one. You are just giving the association instead of getting the field name, and we have that semantics dot text true. Now we have established the relationship for our text and the interface view, which is the connection view, and in the carrier view also we have mentioned that this is the field where we have to get the text. So let us try to refresh the application now and see whether we are getting the carrier id name as usual, or if we are not getting. So here by using the second approach also we are getting the carrier id. So we are getting the carrier id, but here we are not getting, since we have not mentioned the relationship in our flight related interface view. So let us try to mention the relationship here also. Association, this is one to one, you can just define one also. To zi carrier underscore name as carrier dollar projection dot carrier id equal to underscore carrier dot carrier id, and we have to expose the association underscore carrier, and for the carrier id we have to get the name. For that you have to use the annotation object model dot text dot. I want to use the association, so I will just give the association. If you want the element, you can get the name field from here, and you can give the name name of your field, and here instead of association you have to use the element. And we have added the relationship to our text field here, and we have this semantics text true, so we don't need to do anything here. Let us activate this one and see if we are getting the carrier id in our flight related things also. Okay, let us go inside one. Now you are able to get the carrier id name along with your id, because we have established the relationship using the annotations for getting the name of our carrier id. If you just click on this one also, you are getting the name here also. So this is the way how you can get the name for your ids. If you have some name for your id, you can establish the relationship and get the id along with your text. You can use the association or you can use the field name. Either way you can do. So this is all about today's video. I hope this video is clear to you. Please do like, share and subscribe to this channel, and also whatever you feel, just write down in the comment section. And if you have any queries also, please do comment. I will try to answer those questions.